Good day, everyone. Today was supposed to be just a little homage to Senator McCain to wish him well and rehash some of the important ways in which he has served this country. But true to form and exhaustingly predictable, Trump did many a stupid thing since it was made public that McCain had been diagnosed with a brain tumor. It was another week packed full of woeful incompetence and alarming level of ignorance. My last episode, for those who watched, was about how counterproductive it is to the objective of success to stack the deck against yourself. I recorded this episode under the illusion that I had, in fact, waited the appropriate amount of time to rehash all the personnel breakdowns within the 45th administration. I mean, 6 months has to be the cutoff point to the learning curve, right? One would think. But this seems to be more like an IKEA produced presidency plagued by childlike instructions and third class material, and has to date caused as many headaches as piecing together a IKEA bed frame. Staffers have been on the job training for 6 months now, but the chaos and disorganization has not abated. Instead, there seems more and more high level personnel grabbing for the life vest and jumping ship. Although the analogy doesn't particularly work correctly in this case because it seems like this is one of those voyages where you need to wear the life vest 24/7 and only when you disembark can you take the damn thing off. So in the last episode, I alluded to the fact that Spicy was one of the names queuing for a spot on the lifeboat. Well, it turns out, after months and months of less than reputable behavior, the day finally came on July 21st when Spicer could take it no more and willingly turned in his resignation. Most people bet that it would have been months ago, especially after he was forced on his first day in the position of press secretary to come out and willfully lie about something so repugnant as crowd size. Regardless of his canning ability to make a mockery of himself and the position on an alarmingly regular basis, as of April 7th, the odds were actually still 20-1 regarding his resignation, placing him as one of the long shots to resign. But none of these embarrassments are actually what led to his resignation. It was the eventual hire of another name I had mentioned in the in or out section of my last episode, right alongside Spicer, Anthony Scaramucci, the Mooch, who was confirmed to accept the position vacated by Michael DeBuca, who was White House Communications Director for an extremely short period of time. And Raging Cajun Spicy Spicer could take the disrespect no more and finally decided to step up and be a man by stepping out. But the soap opera saga of the most dramatic fashion, the actions on the whim of Mad Men, month 6, didn't end here. There was more scandal and intrigue to come. It was in the classless Trump fashion, which we have grown so accustomed to and almost expect of him, that he tweeted the replacement for his chief of staff while hiding behind on Air Force One after a trip he took with his current chief of staff to New York. I'm a big boy, believe me, sitting on my big boy plane. I'm president. Reince is just a little teeny weeny man, not strong at all, not a general. Sad. Good guy, my guy. Just not so good. I need a new guy. Make America great again. The situation was handled similarly to his handling of the Comey firing, paralleling more whims of a madman. First, he announced Priebus's replacement via tweet. Again, as the motorcade was headed back to the White House, but before it headed off, Priebus was amputated from the returning staffing motorcade as Trump still awaited cowardly back on Air Force One for the whole thing to play out. Ostracized and treated like some kind of black death, Priebus returned alone to the White House, much like Comey's single car being escorted to the airport and out of the FBI building in LA. It's shameless. In supporting character news, There was also a lower-level senior assistant press secretary communication staffers who submitted his resignation, Michael Short, who, after Scaramucci charged into the White House like a bull in a china shop, stabbing people in the front, threatening everyone on the team's jobs. So Short was not as well known, but he has a history he has a reputation of being a closer relationship of Priebus's and stuck out as part of the more established GOP faction of the White House. Scaramucci now takes on the top communication role, and the stone-faced pick and angriest lawn jockey you've ever seen, General Kelly, will be moving from his current role as Secretary of Homeland Security to Chief of Staff. At this time in Trump's administration, he is woefully understaffed. He only have 33 secretaries confirmed, one of which is now stepping down. 63 have been nominated, and 114 are still lacking any attention at all. On top of this, as mentioned, he is moving a personnel from nominated positions confirmation positions to non-nomination positions, and the people being brought in are embarrassingly underqualified to perform the duties of the position in which they now hold. So, if history is any indication, this is going to just turn out great. Now, I would like to focus on the real reason that I wanted to do this short episode. It's almost August, and really this is traditionally vacation time. The last 6 months have been mentally exhausting, and I really thought I could afford to take a break from the 24-hour, 7 days a week diarrhea factory that is the 45th administration. But after the news of McCain became public, I felt I really wanted to say some good words about the man who is my senator. In the post-Comey Day episode, I mentioned that I was worried about his health because he really appeared to be having an episode right there in the middle of the hearing. And it turns out that we all have something to be worried about. A brain tumor is no small matter, and especially at McCain's age. And he has proven to be the strongest defense against Trump's whims in this current time. He has been a staple of the Senate going on 16 years now. He was a presidential nominee. He is a credited practical joker. He was a POW from Vietnam, and he is a decorated soldier. And as recently as Thursday night, he once again showed how vital he is to politics, casting the final no vote for the skinny repeal proposed by McConnell and his Republican senators to repeal the ACA. His vote prevented VP Pence from coming in and casting the tie-breaking vote. I may not agree with all his policies, but he is a principled Republican, and there are not many of those left in the government. I don't know him personally, but an old colleague of mine is his daughter-in-law. So by 7 degrees of separation, I want to wish the McCain family all the strength and positivity as you take the battlefield against the enemy of cancer. I wish him a speedy and healthy recovery because in all seriousness, you are one of the beacons of sanity left in the Senate during these dark and confusing times. I want to thank him for being the decisive vote and standing with millions of Americans against the Republican plans to strip health care from millions of deserving Americans. I hope it is not the last thing you do to protect this nation, but it was one of the most important. In closing, this week's episode's fail was hard to distinguish since there was no short supply of failures over the last week. So I'm going to stay on focus on the theme of classless and the classless way in which Trump announced, again, that he was banning transgender people from serving in our armed forces, again, via Twitter. After consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow ... transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the United States military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming ... victory, and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Thank you. This was a fail because it has nothing to do with setting government agenda. It was a fail because there are so many inconsistent lines of alternative facts that it is bleeding ... It failed because Mattis and his generals were actually never consulted. It failed because it did not distract anyone from the real issues plaguing the administration, and it failed mainly because the military is not going to enact it. So I want to thank you and keep doing what you're doing and enjoy your vacation. Resist.